Well, welcome, ladies and gents. This is a surprise. So, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, or Dial of Decrepity, will apparently outperform Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, it has to, because it has a monumental budget. This needs to hit like $1 billion plus to start doing okay. You know, the budget for this is absolute madness. So this was a bit of a surprise. I saw this yesterday. This sort of dropped down on one of my many notifications on my phone. And I was like, hey, what? Wow, okay, interesting. Now, these early box office predictions are... they float around. They sort of fluctuate quite highly here and there. And I don't know how true this is, because Disney's putting out all the stops to make this a success. But people just don't seem that interested, by and large. And most people are going, or will be going, simply because Harrison Ford, last outing as Indiana Jones. But this film, because it is so long, it really has to stick the landing to not have everyone come out and just badmouth it. And this film will be made or broken on its longevity. Because, you know, the Indiana Jones fan base, it's not huge. You know, we're not talking Star Wars level. So if this movie doesn't do very, 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 very good numbers opening weekend, and it has bad word of mouth, it will struggle. So that's just basic maths, really. So let's take a look at this. Early box office prediction for Lucasfilm's upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Decrepity claims it will outperform Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So according to the numbers, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is currently the fourth highest grossing film of 2023 at the domestic box office, with a $214.4 million. Not very good. And 20.5 million tickets sold. Again, not very good. The film currently sits behind current top grossing film, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which, just to put it into perspective, has done over double. Very, very good numbers. $562.3 million domestic and sold, again, over double, 53.8 million tickets. It's also behind Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is still in theatres, but has already raked in $310.8 million and sold 29.7 million tickets. Guardians of the Galaxy is still kind of struggling, to be fair. But then we have Avatar, which only, and I'm really surprised by this, because it had staggeringly high total gross, only grossed $258.5 million domestically and only sold 24.7 million tickets. So, looking at the Indiana Jones franchise, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had an opening weekend of $100.1 million in 2008 and went on to earn $317.1 million in its domestic run at a worldwide gross of $786.6 million. Now, I think that realistically only took that because it had been a long time since we'd had a film and people wanted to go out and watch it. Now, these other ones are not really ones we need to pay too much attention to, because you're talking about The Last Crusade and Temple of Doom and things like that. You'd have to adjust all this for inflation to have a proper comparison. And the fact that they've spent so much money on this film, when the last one didn't do, great numbers, is just monumentally stupid. So Box Office Pro is predicting that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny will top Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at the domestic box office, predicting that the film will, on the low end, bring in $225 million, and on the high end, they predict the film could earn up to $380 million and surpass Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, they don't expect the film to have any legs, as they predict the film to make a significant portion of its entire gross in its opening weekend, predicting it will earn anywhere between $81 million and $111 million in its opening weekend. So, not great. On the low end, if it makes $81 million in its opening weekend and goes on to earn $225 million, the opening weekend gross accounts for 36% of the entire domestic gross. And on the high end, if it makes $111 million, its opening weekend goes on to earn $380 million, The opening weekend gross is just shy of 30% of its predicted gross. Now, again, they're sort of the high end. They're saying $380 million domestic gross. I mean, let's compare. When loads of people are saying that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was apparently better, $317.1 million it took worldwide for its domestic gross. They think that this is going to do 380. I think that's quite optimistic, even if you're going to adjust for inflation, because loads of people are saying this film was bad. The rumours of the ending are very, very bad. If they're true, I think that will tank this film, because again, it's a very long film. You know, it's not a short film, 2.5 hours or so. If this film does not, I'm saying film a lot, but if this film does not stick the landing, you've wasted a long time in the cinema theatre, and then you're going to come out, and that final act is going to be what's on your mind straight away. So as for the reasoning behind Box Office Pro's sort of status on this movie, they believe that the film could become the second highest grossing film of North America behind the Super Mario Bros. Movie, because the prospect of a new chapter in the Indiana Jones saga has ignited fan excitement in the years since Lucasfilm announced they'd pursue the film. No, it hasn't. Everything coming out surrounding this film puts everyone off this film, so that's really bizarre. Bearing in mind, Box Office Pro were the same people that thought Rise of the Beast was going to tank as well. And then they thought that Little Mermaid was going to be a huge roaring success. So they specifically believe that Harrison Ford returning to the character and James Mangold as the director will bring people to theatres, and they also believe a wave of nostalgia that the film promises could drive adult audiences to theatres. Now, that goes on to claim that if families are brought to see the film, it could have longer legs. Well, yeah. And if I superglue wings on a pig, it might fly. I mean, it's just nonsense. Box Office Pro also claims that early pre-sales are respectable when given proper context, i.e. the glut of male and fan-driven films opening before Dial of Destiny hits theatres in June. So not very good then, basically, is what they're saying. Well, you know, it's doing alright, but there's a whole bunch of other movies taking pre-sales. That's literally what they're saying here. So anyway, the outlet also notes that there are some factors going against the film, specifically the most recent Indiana Jones film. What? So the reason why they think it's going to be a success is because of fans, and then they're like, oh, but it's also bad because fans. Ridiculous. They also point to poor critical reaction coming out of Cannes Film Festival. This film, Dial of Destiny, is 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, that's obviously not something to be too concerned about. What's to be concerned about is the leaks, more than anything, and what people are saying who have seen the film, i.e. the actual story elements. So it's hard to imagine that this film will hit even the lower marks. Yeah, I can't. It's unlikely. I don't see that this film is going to be a massive success. Not the success that they need it to be. Not the success that they need it to be at all. This is going to really struggle. And they never should have spent so much money on this film. It's just bizarre that they chose to spend so much money on this film. Really, really, really bizarre. And, you know, the rumours of the ending. Oof. Big oof. Big, big oof. So, you know, there's not too much else here really to dive into. It's just that these numbers are not good. They scream of meddling. There's been a massive issue recently with companies, studios, aligning themselves with these review outlets, IMDb being one, Rotten Tomatoes being another, and them going out of their way to change their rating systems to kowtow to these studios. I mean, they've done it. They've literally just done it for The Little Mermaid. Now, Rotten Tomatoes changed their reviewing structure for Captain Marvel, and now they've just gone and done it again for The Little Mermaid, and every other reviewing website has now followed suit as well, and they're picking and choosing, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, do we live in North Korea or something? I mean, this is literally what it is. It's a case of, no. You cannot go against the the narrative. Okay, so the approved narrative wins now. Nothing to see here, folks. Everyone loves this film. No, people don't. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I can't see this film being a massive success. Let me know what you think down below. Cheers, guys. Take care.